Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of Fantastic Four: First Steps. This movie is directed by Matt Shakman, and the movie stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Evan Moss Bachrach. Now, the plot of this movie is about the heroes of Earth 838 must defend their world from the planet destroyer known as Galactus. Now, when I first heard they were making another Fantastic Four movie, I was intrigued because the early 2000s brought us the campy Fantastic Four movies with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba. And then 2015 brought us a version that was very dark and gritty with Miles Teller that wasn't well received. So I was curious how Marvel was going to take this new story, make it fit in their world, but also do something different with them. And having seen the movie, I can say that I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. Now, let me start with the acting in this film. Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards was good because the family members in this movie were treated like real people that have super abilities. Like Reed Richards, his whole thing in this movie was he was very intelligent to the point that he was constantly working on solving problems. And whether it be a scientific thing with technology or the problem of a paternal role and being a father, everything he wasn't able to do, he had Sue Storm, who was like the emotional anchor in this movie, to help him out. Pedro Pascal, I get it, he has a look to him, but he should have shaved his facial hair. I mean, he did for Wonder Woman 1984, but why he didn't shave in this movie is beyond me. Also, Reed is the only character in this movie that talks like he's from the 1960s. This movie has a retro-futuristic style to it, much like the Jetsons, where they're stuck in the 60s, but everything has futuristic technology in it, which was neat. But yeah, why he spoke like that is beyond me. I guess he didn't get the memo. Now, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, like I said, she was the emotional weight of this movie. She was the mother to their son, but also she was more or less the leader of the group because everything that Reed Richards couldn't handle vocally or solve, she was kind of there to offer the support, and she was the leader of the Future Foundation that they introduced in this movie, which was nice as well. And then you have Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, or should I say more like John Storm in this movie, because he's very mature. He's not like a womanizer as he's been depicted before, and he's not a jerk. He actually lends a helping hand in the third act of this movie by solving a problem that Reed either couldn't figure out or didn't have time to. I'm not sure. And then you have Evan Moss Bachrach as Ben Grimm, the Thing. He was good. He was very humanized, and he didn't look ridiculous. It was like you could tell the person underneath as opposed to him, being covered by all these rocks and being something you really couldn't relate to. He had a subplot involving his body dysmorphia and how he looked, and even though he was settled in as the Thing, because as you'll learn, these heroes have been heroes for 4 years, that's probably a subplot that they could have done had we been shown their origin story, but I felt he got, the least amount of screen time in the group. Now, Julie Garner as the Silver Surfer, she was good in this role as a, herald for this big being. They actually had time to flesh her character out, which I enjoyed. And she's not bad looking as well. Now, because this movie is a standalone film, this takes place on Earth 838, where the Fantastic Four have already been established for about 4 years. There's no required homework. There's no required viewing of 7 Marvel movies to catch up with who these characters are and what they've been doing, which was nice. Also, the attention to detail in this movie was pretty good. Because this time frame fit the style and the look of the Fantastic Four, you had some images that come right off of, the Avengers 42 with Galactus and all these meteors looming over the Avengers. It was really nice, and everything looked the way it was supposed to. And you also had a side character named Herbie, who's like their robot, servant, butler character, which he was cute, a practical effect, which was nice, and he's actually voiced by Matthew Wood, the same actor that voiced General Grievous in Star Wars. I thought that was pretty neat. So, this movie treated the Fantastic Four like they were real people that could exist that have powers. So this movie isn't flashy, it's not very colorful, and it's not as fun as previous incarnations, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it and their involvement in the MCU. I thought this movie could have used more action, but because they're already established, they pretty much showed all their big fights, all their big bad guys in like a highlight reel at the beginning of the movie, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, like I said, depending on what you want from a movie like this. I thought this movie was too serious for a Fantastic Four movie, but like I said, they're trying to fit it into the MCU, so it's going to be a different style of movie. Now, some things that I had an issue with. So, they gender swapped the Fantastic Four. They gender swapped the Silver Surfer. Now, there is a female Silver Surfer that exists in the comics, but I felt they made her female here to make her character more sympathetic towards something late in the movie. That's my only real guess. That, and she's obviously more appealing to look at, so maybe that's why. But she did some cool things in this film. Her surfing abilities on like this lava and chasing out the Fantastic Four, that was pretty cool to watch. Now, one thing I would have wished to have seen in this movie was have the team use their hero names. Now, I get it. This is the only set of heroes in this world, and they're like the most popular people in the world, so you wouldn't call Ben Grimm the Thing, just like we wouldn't call Neil Armstrong, Mr. Flabbygook or whatever, by his code name. But it's a comic book movie. And us, the audience, we know about the comic books, and we're readers. I just feel like they should have used their code names, because after all, that's how a lot of people, see them as. Let's see, what else? This movie also felt like a lot of it was just set up for what's to come next. And I feel like that's why a lot of people are going to see this movie, is because they know what the next big Avengers event is, and they want to see how this ties in, especially those that have seen the Thunderbolts movie. Which leads me to the end credit scenes. There are 2 end credit scenes. One of them is one of those, you could have missed it, not really worth your time. The other one is things are going to get good. But it's a little confusing in the context of the movie. So, this movie had some neat action, it had some emotion, it had a family dynamic. You actually thought these characters were part of a family, part of a group of heroes that saved the world, yet it could have been more fun. Instead, it just really revolved around Sue, Reed, their child, and what's going to come next. Instead of a flashy, colorful team of heroes that fight, sorts of villains, you just wanted more. And we're going to get them more coming up in the next big movie, but how? I'm not really sure. So, because this movie looked really good, it had neat chase scenes, the music was good, and the acting was on point, I'm going to give Fantastic Four First Steps a B. This movie was pretty good. So until next time, guys, see ya.